Hi, Phil from Moto-Mate. Hope you can hear me. The wind's picking up, so I hope that doesn't interfere too much. Today we're talking about GPS mounts for the KTM 1290 Super Adventure S and R. I'm talking specifically about the 21 model onwards. So the KTM Power Parts nav mount actually picks up on these two screen mounting bolts and sits between, which is it's an okay position, but the problem is the screen's not particularly stable and the mount itself is sprung loaded so you can adjust the angle, which means the nav can move around a bit, which is a bit distracting, shall we say. So I'd like to introduce you to the Moto-Mate nav mount. So what we've done is we've taken the TFT mounting frame that holds the TFT display to the bike, and we've reverse engineered it and incorporated in a swan neck with a mounting plate for a nav. So let's bolt it on and see what it looks like. The removal of the TFT itself is really quite straightforward. There are 3 screws, one on each side at the top. It's buried down in there, so I'm not sure if you'll see it. Just down there by my finger. And then on the left side there's another screw lower down here, and on the opposite side is a long T-bush, top hat type bush, which allows the screen to pivot. So we'll just whip those out and then the TFT can come off. If you've got a long handled Torx tool like this, it's a T30 by the way for those interested. There's the one. There's 2, and I'm just going to use the Torx bar just to push that bush back through and out the other side. Just waggle the screen. Oh, there it goes. So just find that. There we go. Right. So as you can see, that's the bush that the screen pivots on. It's got 2 flat sides on there which locate it in the body so it doesn't rotate, and then that slides through and the bolt pinches up on the other side. So just pop those up there. Take the one on the top on this side. Right, so that's the TFT disc unbolted. So literally then just lifts out. You've got a fair length of wire there. The connector on the back, which will need to come off to take the mounting frame off. So literally just squeeze the tab on the top. See that? So literally just squeeze the release tab on the top there. Give it a waggle and off it comes. Right, we now need to remove the frame, which is these 4 bolts here. That's just a 3mm Allen key. These are not very tight, and you don't want to over tighten them when you put the new frame on, because they are just threaded inserts in a rubber bush, and I'll show those to you in a minute. One thing to bear in mind, when you've got the TFT disconnected, your clock will not be accurate when you connect it back up, because it will have lost the time it's been disconnected. So that just lifts off. These are the rubber bushes. These are anti-vibration mounts, so they're threaded on the top part, but you don't want to over tighten them because you can split and tear them, and you don't want that. So new frame goes back on. As you can see, TFT then sits below the nav. Just pinch those up. I'll just pinch them up until I can feel the rubber twist underneath. That's enough. Then simply plug it back in. One thing I will note, you'll notice on the KTM part there's an actual groove across the bottom here which allows the screen to pivot. On ours, because I haven't got the money to put the rubber insert moulding in there, the tooling for that is ridiculous. We've actually gone for a single state. I'll be honest, I don't know anybody who moves their screen, so I'm going with that. So just so you're all aware, plug the connector back in, tuck the wire in, and that drops back into place. And we'll just pop those screws in. Right, so I'm putting the top 2 in first, so that way I can then just rotate the screen on those 2 mounts just to line up that long top hat bush. So hopefully you get in there and you can see that the hole for the top hat bush, you can see there we've got 2 flats which locate the 2 flat sides for the bush, so it'll only go in one position, well 2 positions, 180 degrees round. You just give the TFT a wiggle, just grind it up, and there we go. Right, so that's the nav mount fixed to the back of the TFT and bolted back on the bike. But in order to make it easier to put the nav mount, the actual nav cradle up on there, I'm just going to put the screen off. You can also do this first. Okay, so this little trim panel here, again, it's just about ease of access for the bolts. That just snaps in, so just pull that out and then assemble up. I use a Zumo locking device for my Garmin, so that needs to go on at the same time. And being Garmin, of course, the screws are all M4, and I've got big fat fingers, so I'm probably going to drop half of these everywhere. My nav cradle is already connected to the ACC2 port down behind the side panel here, so that's the ignition live option. Okay, so there you are, that's just pinched up and nice and tight, so just snap the on. So if you look at it from a rider's perspective, then you can see we're clear of the display, so we're not obscuring the display. It's all up there, all nice and solid. So just snap the panel back on. Okay, so screen back on. I know you're going to see an edited version of this video, but that's basically one Moto-Mate nav mount all in place in about 15-20 minutes. And just so you can see what we're talking about, you have a nice clear view of both the TFT and your nav. Nice and high. Doesn't move with the screen, so the screen goes up and down as always. Will stay central. And if you want one, there will be a link in the post below. So also don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that other stuff I don't understand. Enjoy your travels.